Hello there, Reverend Michael McMorrow, coming to you from the sanctuary, live from the sanctuary in Granada Hills, California, the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California, which is in the North San Fernando Valley, where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. You found your way to our Healing and Revealing service. It's a meditation service that we do every Wednesday night here. And but I did want to take the opportunity, because I think Mike's going to put a slide up here. So tomorrow night on this channel and on Zoom, we will be hosting a Christmas Eve candlelight service. So the Zoom room will be open at 5:30. That'll be for the locals to come in and say hello. And then Jason Goldstein and Lily will be taking us through some Christmas carols starting at 5:45. And then we will have our program at 6 o'clock. And it'll take probably on Zoom maybe 50 minutes, certainly not any longer than an hour. So you're welcome to join us. You can do so in the comfort and safety of your own home. Just bring your own candle, and if you have access to an old Christmas songbook, or you want to dig out some favorites off of the internet so you can sing along at home with Jason and Lily. But it's going to be a nice program, safely distanced, of course, and but we won't have to do it next year. So I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you, particularly those of you who maybe know us only online and you haven't been in our actual physical premises yet. And if you happen to be one of those, you're in for a real treat, because we have some really wonderful people who make up this spiritual community. It's a very welcoming place, an affirming place, and so where all are welcome. And so with that, are we done with the slide there, Mike? So I have our pal Mike Carlin is holding down the fort, doing the audio-visual component. And so been very appreciative. He's really done yeoman's duty and beyond this year, because he's been here for every Sunday service and every Wednesday night service since this thing began. So I think we're going to have to send him on a vacation or something when we're done. So anyway, so what do you say we get to the business of the evening? So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath and releasing. And in that release, we just allow ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. That fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So we light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. The second candle we light for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center, within our online community, and within the secret chamber of our own hearts. And as we focus now on the healing candle, please say aloud anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. So Steve McMorrow, Brenda Moore, and anyone suffering in any way.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
Let's take another breath together. And just release, and in that release, just allow ourselves to fully surrender to this eternal now moment. Recognizing and knowing that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one living intelligence, one infinite heart of the divine, both impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of creation. In this way, there is no spot where God is not, and that all of the stuff of creation has some aspect of the divine in it and expresses as it. So we consider what this means for ourselves, that within us, within the seat of the soul, the light of the divine itself resides. And so we take a moment to connect with this indwelling presence. Call it forth. Commune with this most Holy Spirit. Knowing that it is opening our hearts and opening our mind to have an experience of what is real in this moment. And so we just work with the breath this evening. What I'm knowing for all of us as we connect with this indwelling presence, that we understand each within our own way, within our own methods, within our own traditions. That we are open at the top to have an experience of this meditation tonight that is exactly and uniquely the way it's supposed to be. So we release any attachments to what it's supposed to look like, or what comes next, or what is he saying or not saying, or oh my gosh, I'm thinking again. We're just releasing all of that and allowing ourselves just to be fully present to whatever is happening. So we take a deep breath and again release. Life is good. So having set this intention, or this meditation experience here this evening, we just release it to the divine activity of the mind of the Spirit itself, knowing it is done. And in gratitude and confidence, we know this to be so by saying simply, and so it is. Amen. So we have 2 more Wednesdays before the end of 2020. And so we have the Christmas Eve service tomorrow night. We will have a New Year's Eve drumming circle, again online. That'll be New Year's evening. New Year's Eve evening, so you can drum in the new year with Lissa and Reverend Jessica and friends. And then earlier in the morning at 4 a.m., you're welcome to join me online on Zoom from the, and you won't have to get up this year to come into the sanctuary for our 4 a.m. peace meditation service. So we will be meditating with millions of people around the globe, knowing peace in the world within our time. And so it's 4 a.m., which is 12 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. If they even call it that anymore, I'm not sure. But anyway, so simultaneously we will be meditating with others. So it's pretty cool. And then in the days when we get together, then we usually go and have breakfast together. So, but not this year. Yet another thing. Next year. It's kind of like being a perpetual Dodger fan in every area of your life next year. Except they won it this year. So, who knows what great things await us in 2021. So, I've decided my slogan for 2021 is looking for fun in 2021. So, you're welcome to find your own. But that's what I'm going to be looking forward to. So I just want to stay on this last chapter for another couple weeks, because even though it's only 3 pages, right, from this book, Start Where You Are with Pema Chodron, that's P-E-M-A, C-H-O with 2 little dots over it. I'm not sure what that's called. D-R-O-N with the double dots again. Mike's not giving me any hints, so okay, so you're on your own. But anyway, if you spell it just the anglicized way, you'll find it. She has several books. This is a great one because it does talk about meditation practice Longlen and Tonglen, and all the various other ways and teachings around meditation. It's really a great book. So last week, we were talking about the meaning of observing the essence of the refuge vow, even at the risk of our life. And that with the idea that no escape, no problem. That to observe the Bodhisattva vow is to exchange ourselves for others and develop compassion for ourselves and others. So I've been thinking about this all week, this Bodhisattva vow. And, you know, within the Christian monastic tradition, that's exactly what this is, right? To be of service to others, certainly within the Franciscan order. To exchange ourselves for others and develop compassion for ourselves and for others. So even at the risk of our own lives, if it's painful, breathe it in and think about all of the other people who are experiencing pain. So if you happen to be in pain tonight, right, just breathe into it and think about all those who are also experiencing pain. Now, this is not to minimize your own situation. Right? This is not to tell yourself, come on, sport, buck up. You know, this one over here has it so much worse than you. It's not about that. But it just is acknowledging that there is a shared experience within human existence that has suffering as part of it. So even at the risk of our own lives, if it's painful, we breathe it in and think about all the other people who are experiencing pain. On the other side of that, if it's delightful, then we share it, we give it away, and wish for all people to have that delight. Right? So my good fortune is your good fortune. That's the essence of this slogan, and it really, she says, it's a revolutionary idea, and it really is. Because when our compassion is developed to such an extent that we can empathize with someone without getting down in the dirt with them, or we can delight with them in their own victories, without feeling a sense of envy for ourselves, we've really arrived somewhere spiritually, right? And then also bringing it back to ourselves, right? So that when we are suffering, know that there are others. Know that there are others too who are suffering, right? Without attaching to it, right? So, you know, sometimes there's a payoff to suffering, right? Well, what is that payoff? And if you don't know, if you don't think you're engaged in that, then just think about how many, maybe you have a lot of friends who've been avoiding your phone calls lately. Yeah. So what is it? What's going on, you know? So I know I've had to do some self-examination myself in that area. So if you think about the story that she told last week about the young man who felt himself to be quite advanced spiritually and very aware, very much awake and aware. And he had a girlfriend whom he loved but was struggling with quitting smoking. And he was on her about it. Come on, just take some more discipline, just focus. And to which she would reply, I'm doing the best that I can. I really am. But that was kind of making him nuts. Even that was getting on his nerves. So then he's talking to his own teacher about this and saying, I know I should be more supportive in this way. I should be more compassionate, but I just can't help it. It just gets under my skin. And in that moment, he hears his girlfriend's, he hears his own stuckness in the way that he can hear that he heard his girlfriend's. And then something lifted from that. Because it humbles us a bit, particularly if we think we're all that when it comes to spiritual matters, which really is kind of amusing if you think about it. Well, I don't hang out with those folks anymore because I'm just so much more spiritual than they are. Well, if you're that spiritual, it wouldn't bug you that much. So this is kind of what she's talking about here, Pema, right? Spiritual pride. So it is something, particularly those of us in ministry, to keep an eye on, right? That we have feet of clay and that we are here to serve. And that service is not from reaching down, but rather meeting people where they're at, right? And in this story, I think all of us are like eagles who have forgotten we know how to fly. So we talked about this last week, how we're like eagles who are standing at the edge of the nest getting ready to take off and fly, right? But we have to dump some stuff, right? So we've got our binoculars and our backpack and our flannel shirt and our jeans and suspenders and hiking boots and wool socks and all the accoutrement, right? And so, but we're weighted down. There's no way we're going to be able to take off and fly with all this gear on. So we have to start shedding, right? In the same way within our spiritual practice, right? That for us to get to the pure essence of things and to really live from as our most authentic self, right? It's just the shedding of the things that we're attached to. And so in 12-step they talk about the peeling of the onion, right? So it's not easy, but it's so worth doing, because when we get to the back end of it, of course, we're free. So, and meditation becomes an important practice this way, because with meditation, we're observing this stuff. And the interesting part about meditation also is the way things that, sometimes things you haven't thought about for years will come bubbling up, right? And it's like, well, depending on, our state on that day, right? So it'll either be something like, well, that's interesting. Where did that come from? Or we'll get hooked by the thought and then just, run out a bunch of line like a fish that's been hooked, right? And then we realize, oh, I've been hooked again. All right, so then we just simply return back to the breath. So that's what we're doing here, of course, all right? And that's what we're going to start doing now. That's enough yakking out of me. So start where you are. Great book. And we just have the last few paragraphs where she speaks to training wholeheartedly. So that's what we'll be speaking to next week, and will be a nice way to start or set the intention for the new year. All right. So get yourself comfortable. If you never meditated before or you haven't meditated in this style, so we're just going to be bringing our attention, our focus is on the breath. And you'll see as you focus on the movement of the breath in the nostril, particularly the exhale, you will see the mind begins to still. Your thoughts will actually begin to chill and still. And but the practice, of course, is just to continue to follow the breath. And if you get hooked in the way that I was just speaking to, it's no big deal. Just take a deep breath and exhale. And then you just return back to the breath. So let's just start by checking our seat, getting all our little wiggles and jiggles out of the way. Maybe get a little yawn out. And that, yawns are a great way to reset, yeah? Excuse me. All right. So let's take a deep breath. And release. And that release, just allowing the body to settle. Bringing our attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril. Just following the breath. Breathing easily and naturally. So let's do a little body scan, staying with the breath and bringing our attention to the bottom of our feet. And moving up the leg from the heel up into the calf muscle, and around the front and up into the knees. Sometimes we can torque our knees, so just make a little adjustment and take a deep breath to reset. Into the hamstrings. Top of the thigh. Just breathing easily and naturally. There's no hurry. So we bring our attention to our tummy. The air fills our tummy and then we just release it on the exhale. Now into the sit bones, up the spine. So the spine is erect, balanced over the sit bones, but free of tension. Check out your lower back, and if you feel some tension in there, just take a deep breath and release, and you can tuck your tailbone underneath there. That'll release that. And then just return back to the breath. Tummy rising and falling, breathing easily and naturally. Focusing on the breath and the nostril. Focusing on the exhale. attention back into the room, staying with the breath. So imagine the center of your chest, at your heart center. The Star of Bethlehem. The conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, if you like. The spark of the divine at the very center of your heart. And with each in-breath, we are fanning that flame. And fanning the flame, the light gets brighter, more radiant, expansive until it becomes a ball of beautiful, radiant fire. A fire that illuminates rather than consumes. That with each in-breath, this ball of light grows just a wee bit bigger. Expanding and contracting with each breath. In the way that you would blow a balloon. So this light now extending to the body, the torso of your body, side to side, front to back, top to bottom, that there's this globe of light. With each in-breath, continues to expand, and we are breathing in the energy of the Spirit. The light of the Spirit is what is inflating this heart center. So we're breathing in light and then exhaling love. Breathing in light and exhaling love. And this ball of light continues to expand with each in-breath. So let's just work with the breath here for a few moments. So this light now, we're sitting in it. It is enlightening the very room in which we're sitting. Staying with the breath, breathing in light and exhaling love. That this love now, this light extends beyond our living space. That we are raising in light and in love and in vibration, life itself. Life raising life. So in this way we are co-creating a field of light and love, that our heart feels open, that our mind is open at the top. So from this energetic, from this field of light and love, we just call forth anyone who is suffering in any way that we know about, and that we just breathe for them and with them. Breathing in the light, exhaling love. Breathing in the light of love, exhaling love itself. So that anyone suffering around this expression known as COVID-19, we're breathing in light and exhaling love. For the families suffering around this condition, we breathe in light and exhale love. Breathe in light, exhale love. For people suffering from racism or bigotry or prejudice of any kind, we breathe in light and exhale love. Anyone that we know may be struggling with mental duress, feeling isolated and alone, that we are raising them now in love and in light, breathing in light, exhaling love, breathing in light, exhaling love. And so as we even set our intention for these next few days in this holiday season, as the nights now begin to get shorter and the days begin to get a little bit longer, we're breathing in light, exhaling love. Consider the ways that we can gather this light to the end of this 2020 and take a momentum of healing into 2021. Breathing in light, exhaling love. And so from this field of light, this energetic of love, we are one in consciousness, recognizing and knowing each within our own heart and within our own understanding that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one light, one living intelligence, one infinite heart of the divine radiating its love, compassion, and loving kindness in, through, and as all of creation. And that in some crazy cosmic way, we are one with this consciousness of light and love. And so from this place of conscious unity, with the love that the Spirit is, we call forth our own intentions, our cares and concerns. Taking a deep breath and release. So we think of the many things that we are grateful for. That we are grateful for the many blessings that we have in our life. We are grateful for a consciousness that allows us to exercise the freedom of choice in what we think, in what we say, and in what we do. That we honor the path that we have been on up until now, even as we recognize our own unfolding with a sense of confidence and humility. Grateful for having an awareness of the divine at work in our life. Grateful for the gift of insight which allows us to see the handiwork of the Creator in our life and in the life of those around us. So taking a deep breath, releasing, and in that release, just knowing that we are releasing now in gratitude and with confidence to that aspect of the mind of the divine itself that knows only to say yes. Yes, my beloved, yes. In you I am well pleased. And so we rest in knowing this, that it is done. And so we make our way to our bed tonight as we lay our head down on the pillow. We drift easily and effortlessly off to sleep, sleeping deeply, restfully, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling rested, restored and revitalized, full of a sense of vim and vigor and a zest for life as we move through our day, knowing time is elastic and we easily accomplish all that is put before us. Taking a breath one more time. We just release all of this now. Knowing that it's done, knowing that it's so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So, that was a nice little meditation for me. I hope you got something out of this time that we've spent here this evening. Again, tomorrow night, here on the YouTube channel. If you don't have Zoom, don't sweat it. And you would like to do something with us. So we'll be Christmas caroling at 5:45. If you want to say hello to some friends, you can get on at 5:30. At 5:45, we'll sing some Christmas carols, get the juices going. And then we have a sweet little program of music and sharing the stories of the Nativity laid down by our ancient ancestors of long ago. So a nice way to bring in, for those of us who celebrate the coming of the consciousness of love represented by the Christ child. So, we'll see you tomorrow night, or you can catch me on Facebook Live, Michael McMorrow. I do a noontime reset, noon-ish. So if you follow on Facebook, check it out. At noontime, just do a little noontime prayer. And of course, we're here on Sunday mornings at 10:30 also. And that's done a full program with Reverend Nancy Woods, our assistant minister, and Ken Francis, our music director, Jason Goldstein on keys and vocals. Of course, we got Mike and Evan help us out in the back. So until then, enjoy your evening. If I don't see you, have a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. Until then, know that you're loved. Peace and blessings. Sweet dreams and good night.